Was this section of philosophy dealing with the ethical dilemmas of society, was it of interest to you?
I found it to be really interesting because whereas some of the other sections we've done, I know they were important, but I feel like they were more important in the past. But I feel like this section really applies to what's happening now. I even told Dr. Smith in some of the emails that I've seen situations where we've discussed in class, actually like in my own life. And I thought that was really interesting, just actually have to think those through and find ways to apply them to what's happening in my life and not just in the classroom.
The students immediately see, just through the examples, that the concepts are relevant. The whole idea of treating person as an end and not just manipulating or using them as a means, that's a part of a concept of respecting other persons, and students understand that that's a real issue in human relations.
I think that we were able to apply it to everyday life, and that that you can just think about it. And I found myself literally going to sleep thinking about this, stuff that we learned in class, and still thinking about, well, that person had a really good point, and sort of rewriting my own philosophies on some of these subjects.
One of the big advantages, it seems to me, of the interaction model, the dialectic or dialogic model of teaching, is it is difficult to ignore. In general, I mean, all these issues that we've touched on, you're kind of confronted with it and challenged to address it and speak your mind in class, in front of other people. Now, many people will withdraw from that. They will not want to do that, and eliciting them is not the easiest thing to do. And sometimes people will just pull back and put the shell up, and that's it. But they know that that's what's being asked of them. That they're not simply being told to write something down and repeat it back, and therefore they realize that, in a sense, I am challenging, I am inviting their intellect to come out and play, So here's our first question. I just would like to take hold of it. Right? So the question, of course, is, what's the right thing to do? What would you do? All right, so let's continue now for a second. How many of you would turn the wheel, go down the sidetrack, run over the one worker? Are there any questions about the situation? Everybody knows what the situation is? Okay. How many of you would turn the wheel, run over the one worker, but save the 5? How do we do that? And how many of you would not turn the wheel and go straight ahead, killing the 5? Dustin, you're the only one? Nobody else? Okay. Now, the only time I would ask you not to vote is where you really don't feel you have an intuition as to which is better. Okay, so let's ask for reasons. Now, those of you in the majority, what would be your reason? Why would you want to turn the wheel? Anyone? Let me go with Derek, and that's him.
Well, if there's only 2 choices that you can take.
Right.
With your either side, you're gonna have to take a life, but it's better to take one life and save the many lives than kill the many and just leave the few.
So you would say it's better to save 5 than lose the 5, and even though that involves losing one. 5 versus 1.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good reason. Anybody have a different reason? The majority of people voted for this, right?
No, we need more.
All right. Well, I guess I'll call on you now, Justin, since you're the only person who didn't vote for it. I'm taking it at face value, right? All of you, that's the reason why you would. That's the reason, Jensen, that's the reason why you had 2 chances to think about this, right? You would go ahead and turn the wheel. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now, why, Dustin, would you not turn the wheel?
Because if I was already going straight and there's nothing I could do about it, I wouldn't want to decide to take a life. I would want, like, that's fate that just happened. Like, it's their fate. Like, they were in the track. Like, if they don't move when they see a trolley coming.
They're not going to see it coming.
Yeah. So
They're busy working, and it's just going to come down on them before they even know it.
So I would not want to choose to have to take that guy's life. I would let fate happen.
So the one circumstance, the trolley car losing control, it's fate. The other circumstance, turning the wheel, that's your choice, and you don't want to make that choice. Is that right?
Yeah.
Even though going with fate, these guys are wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Doug?
I reversed myself when I said that I'd turn the wheel. If you want to think about it, there's going to be an accident. Whether there's going to be a murder or not still remains to be seen.
Uh-huh. So now you're saying, I guess with Dustin, turning the wheel is murder.
Essentially, you're making the conscious, premeditated decision to end someone's life.
Okay, okay. I've got Drew and Sarah. I think Drew was first.
But at the same time, you're making a conscious choice. If you have the choice to turn the wheel, you're making a conscious choice not to. So you're still making a conscious choice to kill 5 as opposed to 1. I mean, if you have the choice and you know that's an option, then you're making a choice either way, whether you do it or not.
Well, it is in a sense a choice because you can end up going in either direction, right? The one is kind of a choice of restraint, going along with fate, as it were, and the other is a choice of action. The one is kind of passive, the other is kind of active, but you still see a real difference there. Sarah?
I disagree. I mean, to be completely honest, you're going to kill 5 people or you're going to kill 1 person. And the way that, they could see that and they could charge you with homicide, they could charge you with reckless endangerment, even if it was an accident, there's still the possibility. And it wouldn't matter whether you chose to spin the wheel or not, in my opinion, because if you could save 4 lives, why wouldn't you try to do that?
4 in the sense of 5 minus 1?
Right, exactly. Like, I mean,
Right.
killing less. And you never said the one worker had headphones on or not, so maybe.
Oh yeah, they're both they're both sort of blind to what's going on, and they're both kind of going to be wiped out by it.
Steve is a bystander. I mean,
This guy's Steve.
without any outside force, nothing could happen to him.
Do we want to name the others so we don't sort of prejudice it? This
It's
is
more intimate.
Martin, and this
Personal.
is Rudy,
I'll
and
leave
this
that
is
up to
Alex,
I just want to.
Joe, and
He's fine.
her.
He's not without outside another set of events. Nothing would happen to him if you do not spin the wheel. Steve does not die.
Steve does not die, but I guess what folks are saying is Rudy and all these other guys die.
There was going to be an accident. It's like I said. It's whether it be an accident or whether it be a murder.
Okay.
I just don't feel like explaining to that dude's wife, like, and she looks at me and she's like, because a life is a life.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude's dead.
But then 5 of them.
And like, but I think it'd be easier for me to explain, the train was running away, there's nothing I could do, I'm sorry. And
Well,
it's
there was
in 5
something you
years.
There was something you can do.
But I could, but then I'd have to go explain to that guy's wife, she's like, why'd you turn it? Why'd you turn the wheel and kill my husband?
What?
If she asked me like, why'd you turn the wheel and kill my husband? Then, I mean, I wouldn't have a really good explanation for that. 'Cause, I mean,
What were your explanation be, Jordan?
Alright, your reasoning for not turning the wheel is because you don't want to have to single out one guy. Even if you go ahead and kill the other ones instead of the one guy, you're still going to have to explain why those guys were killed. You have the choice to kill 5 or 1.
Won't the other 5 families come to you and say, you know, you could have saved all of our, I guess, husbands, fathers, whatever, right? And you chose to save just one person rather than all 5 of us. Why did you do that?
I don't have to save that guy though, because he's not in danger of what I'm doing right now. See, he's just chilling.
Right.
Like, I would be
it's just
saving
going
those
down
guys
this
and
way.
killing him.
Right.
But I'm not saving that guy if I kill those guys. I'm just letting him stay where he is. I'm
Letting
sorry.
him.
I think in some certain situations it is very practical. In very tense situations like the train and the saving one
the
versus
trolley
the,
car,
the
yeah.
trolley car situation. That's a very high emotion, very tense situation. And you sort of, I thought a point brought up in class was that you can't really know what you're going to do because you're going to be running on instinct instead of, what am I going to do in this situation? You're going to want to, for the most part, you're going to want to save that one person instead of, killing the 5.
Part of the kind of, some terms that go around are human beings are rational animals or human beings are political. We're also moral animals. This is part of what it is to be a human being, to be making these judgments. So to engage in sometimes fairly sophisticated analyses of difficult moral situations, situations involving the distribution of goods within a society and how that relates to questions of justice, the questions involving euthanasia and how that relates to questions of consequences on the one hand and respecting person. All of these questions I think are questions that students can fairly quickly see are pretty important. They may not be immediately important to them, but they are also tied to concepts and principles that they might use in other contexts of their lives.
I didn't really think about things like this prior to this class. And it's funny because some days I would leave class really, really frustrated because I would say, what does this have to do with anything? These situations would never occur in real life. And then, in the past couple weeks, I've actually experienced a couple of situations similar to the ones we've talked about in class and said, oh, it actually does make sense and it actually does happen. So I think that's been really cool. It's just, I feel like this class and especially discussion in this particular section has made me more aware of ethics and things that happen in the world around me.
I think definitely think there are better ways to take things, whether or not they're necessarily right or wrong remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Again, depending on the situation. It would be nice if there was always a right way, a defined right way and a defined wrong way.
Yeah.
But that's usually never the case.
Wouldn't it be nice if it was in a plastic package?
Either black or white.
Yeah.
The world is literally in gray.
And the similar kind of thing, it seems to me, is quite relevant to questions of knowledge. The whole idea of an ultimate capital T truth that we will grab hold of and possess forever may seem also to be an absurd goal. But the more you enter into any field of knowledge, the more the opportunity lies for understanding, a better and better grasp, and then, as it were, the creation of local knowledge that is your own, and that may contribute to a larger community as well. So the challenge, it seems to me, again, is to find that place, that niche, where you can grow and develop and expand.